Nova Scotia is having an energy renaissance. I just made that up, but it's really cool how Nova Scotia is being recognized throughout Canada as a leader and innovator in renewable energy. Coming up is a conversation with a program manager and two faculty members at the Nova Scotia Community College. They're going to tell us how they are keeping pace with training the workforce and supporting the renewable energy sector. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today.
Pleasure to be
here. Hey,
yeah,
thank you for having us.
Well, it's so cool because I'm mentioning earlier to you guys, this is the first time I've had 3 guests on at the same time. So let's see how this all goes. And there's lots to talk about because at NSCC, you guys are doing amazing things, and you're very well known in this province as being innovators and also being very responsive to industry. And of course, what the topic we want to talk about is how you're being responsive to renewable energy. There's a lot of things coming down the pipe and planning for the future. So I guess, Patty, I'll ask you and maybe just tell, a little bit everybody on what your role is at the college, but also how you guys are preparing for the future.
Certainly. So I work as a school manager with the School of Technology and Environment. And so connected to that is being very closely connected to industry. I go to sector council meetings, AGMs, conferences, and then also I attend any of our program level meetings where we have industry that are helping to advise us on where a particular program needs to go. And so front and center to all that is making sure that we understand how labor needs are changing. So as our industries evolve, as new technology emerges, when you speak to renewable energy, how we're going to power our whole grid is completely transforming in Nova Scotia. And so, we need to stay, closely tied to that and think about if labor needs are changing, there's new skills or technology that our graduates need to be familiar with to be able to support those sectors, then, we need to be able to adapt to that at the college. And so that's pretty key to the work that we do, how we make sure that our graduates are coming out and they're ready to hit the job running where the need is greatest.
Now, Taylor and Laurie, you two are both involved in the faculty side of things, and tell me a little bit about what your role is and what programs you're offering right now that you take care of.
We teach a program called Electrical Technician. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-year diploma program, and it's only offered at King's Tech. And when our students come out, they come out with the first year electrical apprenticeship, 900 hours. And the program, the first year is identical to the electrical construction industrial certificate program. The second year is where the difference is. The second year, we have renewable energies. We have solar, we have wind, we have more industrial motor controls, we have some spark grid technologies. And it gives us an extra year of practice, more shop time when industry wanted years ago.
And Taylor, your program is a 3-year program, I understand.
No, I teach the second year of, I teach part of the ELTM program in the second year. So I focus on kind of the industrial electrical side when it comes to wind turbine, maintenance and technology. That was kind of my specialty for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I teach the wind turbine, intro to wind, try to get people that base foundation understanding of the industry. And we also go into motor controls and kind of that industrial electrical side. So the first half, you get that construction, residential, and then that second half, you get the renewables with motor control and automation and kind of where industry is headed. So that's kind of what I do in my specialty there.
Excellent. Well, what type of industries are you focusing on right now? I guess, Patty, you could probably answer this question. Which ones have the best potential, or it's kind of hard to predict down the pipe, but which sectors are you focusing on right now?
Well, when you're talking about like the renewable energy specifically, right, we're thinking about, because every province is approaching that a little bit differently. The mix looks different depending on what geographic advantages you have in play. And so Nova Scotia, we're very windy. And so, wind has certainly been an area that we've been delving into, that we've started to look at where we might need new programming. Another area that we already have some components of wind in the program that Laurie and Taylor both teach in. So that's part of year 2, as well as solar, because that's already part of the infrastructure available in Nova Scotia, but it's about to take a big uptick. If you've looked at the power energy plan for Nova Scotia, then I think it's about 5% of the grid is going to be solar alone. And so that's another area where we've already started developing microcredentials and boosting that in our core programs as well. We've also developed microcredentials on biomass, because that's another piece of the puzzle when you think about our forestry sector here in Nova Scotia. And so the other piece is coming down the line. It's not here yet. I'm sure folks who are following the news have heard lots of investments in the development of green hydrogen in Nova Scotia. So we're not making it yet, but that's coming. And so that's always part of our role at the college, is to be paying attention to, what's coming next. So that way we can ensure that as those labor skills are needed in the workforce, we're ready and queued to have graduates coming out the door. And so at some point we'll probably need hydrogen process technicians. So, we have power engineering programs right now that align up with how our power is currently produced in the province. That we'll have to pay attention, and which we are, to be able to adapt those programs or add new programs as that sector starts to really take off, which is going to be happening very shortly. So.
When you create these new programs, what is involved? I mean, Taylor, are you involved? Laurie, are you involved in the shaping of these programs?
I was directly involved with making this program many years ago. We had a dean, and he just passed away recently, Ron Farrell, and it was one of his visions, one of his dreams. And so myself and 2 other colleagues, Brad Penny and Maria McGowan, we worked on this program for 3 years to get it to where we wanted it, where he wanted it, and where the college wanted it. Wow. And then it started. It was a lot of after-hour work, a lot of weekend, a lot of traveling, meeting with different industries, different people, and then we took their lead, and then we gave what we wanted. The curriculum consultants took over, and they helped make it all one. And we meshed it all as one.
So there's a lot in there. What do you have to add to that, Taylor?
I mean, they definitely have built a strong foundation here for a renewable energy electrical technician. I'm really excited to be here, and I've really enjoyed my time in the renewables and the trades. So I bring a level of excitement and maybe the young face in the room, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to Laurie about stuff I've seen coming out of industry, and he's showing me the ropes of how to lead a class and how to bring value to the students that come into our classroom. So.
Well, that's important. What is your background? Where did you come from, Taylor? Because you're new.
So I spent, like I said, about 10 years working in the wind industry. Mm-hmm. So that was as a wind turbine technician and an industrial electrician. When I first came out of school, the job prospects in Nova Scotia for that were kind of slim. It was a lot of traveling around to work. And over the last 10 years, I was able to have gainful employment in Nova Scotia working in the wind industry. And that's only, further exploding in the next 10 years. So basically a wind and electrical background, and kind of excited to share that with the students coming in.
Speaking of students, I know that high school students are very important. And in what ways do you try to reach them and get them excited about something they don't quite know about? They don't understand renewable energy. So how do you try to entice them to get excited about the future of it?
I think that's a great question, and we've talked at length about that. Taylor and I, our program's full. We have waiting lists every year, thankfully, and our students find gainful employment. But as a college, we do a pretty good job of that. We have open house. We bring them in. We have open houses where we have high schools come in, people come in, the public come in. They talk to faculty, they talk to students in the shops. We have test drives where from that and from any results, if the students want to come in, they spend a day with our class. So they'll split between Taylor students and my students, and they'll spend a day with the students. They'll do a day of the shop, day in the courses, math and all the theory. We do that from the open house this year. One example we use, we have a high school system coming in here with 30 students coming in March 6th. And that all was from a contact from open house. They're going to take in 7 programs. They're going to do plumbing, electrical technician, machining, heavy duty, and also automotive. So anytime we can get the public in our building is a win-win for us, because we're helping to educate what we do. And to be quite honest, we're all pretty passionate about it. We all love what we do, and we enjoy it. And they are the future.
Yeah, and you get the current students to kind of chat with those high school students during the day, and we kind of throw them into an ongoing project and get them hands on right away, just to get a feel for what we're doing here.
Oh yeah, we put them to work, and if they have a chaperone with them, if they have a teacher with them too, the teachers go to work too.
And peer to peer is so important as well.
Right.
You get the student,
exactly.
right? With renewables, like I said, a lot of people don't understand. So if you were 14 years old, I have to ask that. I have to ask you guys each individually, because what area would you focus on? Like what would be interesting to you? And Patty, perhaps I'll start with you.
Well, I think the thing that's challenging for high school students or junior high students, even when they're just starting to go into that stage where they're selecting courses and thinking about those future pathways. There's so many different options that it is a little overwhelming. And I mean, at the community college alone, we have over 140 different programs. And I think sometimes when I think about the college, folks maybe historically tend to think about as a trades institution, and we have a wealth of really strong and excellent trades programs, but we also have like 3 other schools with lots of, fantastic programs, and you can do almost anything at the college. And so, I think that, taking advantage of some of the different opportunities, as Laurie mentioned, to go into a campus and get exposed, I think is really helpful. Mm-hmm. And then that helps you to really, I think, make a more educated choice about what's the best fit for you. Because I know for me personally, if I were 14, I'm somebody who I like to rock climb in my spare time. The idea of a career at heights where I get to work with my hands and have the opportunity to have a green career. To me, the whole wind avenue is pretty exciting work. But I think you have to find the thing that's the the fit for you as well. And I think within our school as well, we also have a variety of different kinds of careers that support what I would sort of call sort of green careers, whether you want to work in sort of the forestry sector, where you want to help more sustainably manage our water, whether you want to do hands-on electrical work. There's quite a breadth of different ways you can get in there and have a really cool career and also help to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Taylor, you're 14 and you want to start all over again. Where would you go? Do the exact same path?
Yeah, I think I definitely would be going down the exact same path. But, to further what Patty's saying, to get out to the test drive programs and come through the college, that's going to be super valuable for anybody kind of coming into high school, so that you can kind of gear, because that's when you kind of have to start selecting, some of the courses you're taking, right, as you're going through high school, whether you're going to take, what kind of math you're going to do and that kind of stuff. And that'll gear you up if you have that kind of mindset of, okay, I'm going to go, get involved in plumbing or electrical work or whatever it may be. Obviously, trades is kind of having a moment right now, and especially renewables. My mind and heart is in that. So I think that's where I would steer people, but definitely get out and see what's available at the college and talk to people that are out working in those fields to try to get a feel for what you're interested in and what you want to do. Obviously, it takes all kinds of cons this world we got. So you have to see what opportunities are out there. But NSCC has a ton of programs. So
yeah, exactly. What is there some sort of questionnaire that people can fill out, where you can focus on people's strengths and then it spurts out, okay, you're best for this field or that field? Does that sort of thing exist?
We have student service advisors, and it's a question where we get asked a lot. What do you do? What do you want to do? And it's okay not to know what you want to do, first of all.
It's
Yeah,
probably
and
better that way in a
yeah,
sense.
it's okay. It's okay. Not everyone knows. We speak to high schools and students yearly about that. It's one of those things where we tell them to follow their heart and educate themselves. So what you mentioned is a career counseling test. We have student service advisors here, and one of their roles for us, they will have a career counseling test. And I have 3 sons, and my sons have all taken that test. And the top 3, they've all worked in. Well, no, they shouldn't say that. They're working in the top 5 of their when they did the test. So it's a test that you answer honestly, and it will steer you in the pathway where it thinks you should go, where you direct it. But you got to follow your heart. You really got to follow your heart. If you don't know, it's okay, but you really don't want to do something just for the money. You want to do something because you like it and you enjoy it.
Do you guys have to recognize the partnership with provincial and federal government? I mean, there are net zero commitments. There are the EV, 2035, I believe it is, for EVs. Do you guys need to recognize that and help reach those goals that are set at a government level?
So I can speak to that. So when we're looking at making any kind of changes to programs or introducing new programs or suspending a program, any change that you're making to our program mix, as we call it, that goes for approval to our Board of Governors and then ultimately is signed off by the Minister of Advanced Education. So that that alignment with provincial direction is really important. So when we're thinking about how we might need to adapt our programming to meet what's happening within our local economy. Part of that certainly, and a really important part of that is all of our industry consultation. And equally important is paying attention to provincial direction. And so, as examples, I've been, working for the past couple of years on developing a wind turbine technician program. I've done a lot of research and consultation with the province around our renewable energy commitment goals, and that was part of the whole rationale in building up the proposal for that program is that because that helps to chart the course of the path that we're on, right? And so I think that that's really important for us to be paying attention to as well. We're thinking about what does the next 3 to 5 years look like as Nova Scotians, and what's our role in supporting that as the community college, which is a little bit unique. Other provinces, most other provinces don't have one unified community college, and so we're it. So if we're not meeting that need in Nova Scotia, then there's a gap. So we need to be paying close attention because nobody else is kind of pulling up behind, filling in those holes. So it's important for us to be really doing our homework to make sure we're aligned well.
What about micro-credentials? To me, they just seem to be like, if you're already in a career, a micro-credential is kind of like a refresher course, or it's a course that extends on the knowledge that you already have. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the micro-credential piece is an important part of upskilling or reskilling. And so, when you think about, we've been talking a lot about the renewable energy sector. You think about, maybe an electrician that's, already perhaps Red Seal certified.
Right.
They're fully equipped to work in their trade, but now they want to be able to install solar photovoltaic systems, and so they haven't worked in that particular sector before, and so we have micro credentials that they don't need all the foundational electrical skills. They've already got that.
Right.
And so rather than going through a full 1 year or 2 year program, they're just doing a micro credential, which is only giving them the skills that they need wherever that gap is because of a new industry development. And so we've been doing that across all of our schools, is looking at as industry changes, what are the little skill gaps that are emerging because of technological shifts or new sectors, and how can we support folks who are already in the workforce to be able to pivot.
So micro-credentials are a little bit more agile. They're a little bit more, it doesn't take as long to put them together. It's not a 2-year program. It's something that's more reactionary, would you say, and flexible?
Oh, we've been working on that. We for the solar, for the photovoltaic, we've been working on those. My academic chair, Alex Renault, and his team, they've been working on those for a couple of years now, just getting those lined up and getting them ready to go. They've gone through one round. Now they've modified them, and new and improved, and they're going to start up a new batch here soon.
Well, that's a good question I want to ask. Is technology is changing all the time. I mean, things are getting better, faster, improving. But I guess you guys would probably just focus on the foundation and the fundamentals, would you? And then add the new technologies as they come. Like, how do you bake that all in?
Oh, we're evolving. I've been here 19 years, and what I taught 19 years ago, there's still some of that, but it's heavy safety for sure. And then we have to make sure there's a base foundation of the skill sets, so our learners are employable at their employment level where they need to be. But we're constantly upgrading and updating and improving our curriculum. If we don't, they're not going to meet industry demands, and we'll hear about it.
Yeah. And, and NSCC takes a lot of pride in meeting industry demand.
Yeah, we hear that when we're having, like, every program has an industry advisory group attached to it. And so when we meet with them once annually, then we can hear from them, like, how are grads doing in your workplace, or students who are in there on work terms. Are there things that are, emerging that, new skills they need? So as an example, we have a whole suite of building technology programs. And when we had our industry meetings with them this fall, one of the things that came up, think about, something like drafting. When those students would have originally taken the program years ago, there would have been a lot of hand, drafting by hand, right? And then eventually it moved to CAD. And now, at the most recent meetings, they're talking about, like, what's the balance with Revit, which is a newer software that's being used. But you're seeing a mix of both in the workplace right now. And eventually at some point, we'll probably end up having to take out CAD and it would just be Revit. And so, like, those industry conversations help to make sure that they're using the right software, that they have the right tools and technology. So when they get on the workplace, there's not a disconnect between what they've learned and what's happening out on the job.
When students are on work term, we, the faculty, Taylor and I will this year, as we do other years, we go out and we talk to our industry employers, and we talk to make sure the students, how they're doing, their feedback. We're looking for their input too and feedback, because like I said earlier, at the end of the day, they're hiring our students. We want them to be happy with what the product we're putting out, and but we have to listen, and we do.
That's amazing. Renewable energy, exciting times, and I'm glad to see that you guys are being proactive as well as reactive. I guess I could say. Is there anything else that you want to leave with everyone on a parting note?
Come on in. We're open. Anytime you want to come in the campus, come in. We love to see people come in our sites.
Yeah, that's great. I would say that, to echo that, Laurie, when I think about when I first came to the community college, it really resonated for me that it's not just a name. It truly is a community college. It's part of the community, and the doors are always open. And I think, the campuses are always happy to see, students and parents and both teachers come in to be able to learn about the programs that we offer and get a chance to get exposed to our programs and use our spaces as well. We have lots of community groups that come in and use our classrooms in the evenings and weekends. So, we're there for community. We're there to support Nova Scotia. And yeah, as Laurie said, we're open. Our doors are open.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for your time, you three. Great to have you all together. I know you're out of the hot seat now, Laurie. It was great to bump into Laurie because I met him at the Solar Summit just last December. So it was really great. So it was finally I got to nail you down. And thanks for bringing along Taylor and Patty as well. Wonderful conversation. And we'll be checking in. I mean, as you guys grow and evolve with everybody else in the industry, right? So thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. All right. Well, there you have it. That was Nova Scotia Community College, where if I was 14 years old and I was deciding a future in renewable energy, I don't know what I would pick, but I would know that I would be finding a great career with great options. I'm your host, Maria McGowan. This is the Renewable Energy Podcast. Make sure you visit reimaginedenergy.com. I'm really thankful for the sponsor, Nova Scotia, the province of Nova Scotia, and the Smart Energy event. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.